Welcome to the White House. I didn't know any of these guys behind me, but they just showed up. I don't know where the hell they came from. 2024 NBA champions, the you're Celtics, right? The Boston Celtics.
Flashback.
Thank you, Karine. The administration strongly criticized the media for clips showing the president appearing to be confused, freezing at times, and you called it cheap fakes, misinformation, disinformation. In one case, even implied that it was the product of artificial intelligence, calling it deep fakes. Do you have any regret over using that language?
Not at all. Not at all. And let me be clear, it was a certain part of the media. And, I mean, you can speak to this better than I can, a certain part of the media which was doing this. And look, independent, mainstream fact checkers in the press and misinformation experts have been calling out cheap fakes. And at the end of the day, they're fakes. That's what they were, targeting the president. They had said, the reporters and these misinformation experts said that this president was being targeted. And what we did was echo them. That's what we did. And look, we'll certainly continue to call that out. And the cheap fakes didn't come from me. I didn't coin that. That didn't come from this White House or this podium. That came from the media. They called it cheap fakes. And they said this president, President Biden, was being targeted on misinformation. It was purposefully being done to this president. And what we did is we echoed that. So I don't regret it at all.
Well, the
it was just the facts.
Used that sort of approach to counter the Wall Street Journal report, for instance, that interviewed 45 people over several months who criticized, the president's handling of himself in meetings, and broadly.
Which approach? I'm not following.
Talking about the president's age being a factor.
I don't understand where
the approach from the White House to criticize the reporting, to basically cast the reporting as not true, and broadly, this has been the reason I ask is like the administration's response to our questions often seems to be, don't believe your lying eyes. The border is secure. Afghanistan withdrawal was a success. Inflation is transitory. So is that going to change?
I mean, you just laid out, Jackie, you just laid out a bunch of things. So just give me a second here. First of all, I think this is a give and take, right? Even in this briefing room, we go back and forth. I go back and forth with you, with your colleagues, with everyone here. And I think we have a right to say if something we don't think is true or something we think we want to push back on. That is a right for us to do, just like you have a right to push me and say, actually, our sources or our reporting say this. I think it's a give and take. This is what makes what we do in this room almost every day. This is an exercise of democracy. This is an exercise of freedom of the press. That's what we're doing here. And I think if there's some reporting that we don't believe to be true, I think it's okay if we go back and forth and say, actually, we don't think that reporting is true. Right? And so I don't see anything wrong with that. That is what this is. That is what this is. This is what we actually do on a daily basis. This is how we lead the world on making sure that journalism exists and you all have the right to do your jobs. But, we also have our right as the press office here in the administration, if we don't believe something is true or we want to share our side of things, that we do so. Look, on the other things that you just listed, I've talked about this president's record a lot, often here, in this just however minutes I've been at this podium. And look, when it comes to the economy, the data shows it. When it comes to healthcare, the data shows it. Afghanistan, obviously, it is an important conversation to have, and that is something that the president wanted to do and end a war, and a forever war. He wanted to make sure that we stop putting our young women and men in harm's way. And that is a difficult decision to make. It is not an easy decision to make. But he's the president and commander-in-chief, and he wanted to make sure that we got our armed troops out of harm's way. And so I honor and respect our back and forth, and it is always an honor and privilege for me to do this job, and I will continue to do that. Go ahead. As the first Black, openly queer White House press secretary, and I gotta add, a proud Haitian American. For those who don't know, I can tell you that representation matters to him. I'm just really proud, truly proud, to work for the most diverse administration in our nation's history.
They be like, Smooth, what? Can you teach me how to Dougie? You know why? Cause all the bitches love me. All I need is a beat that's super bumpin'. And for you to back it up and dump it.